Hi there, readers. Today we are reading 38 and 39 of our read aloud, and we're really getting down to the end of our story, which kind of makes me sad, but I'm also very excited because we get closer to finding out who wins this amazing prize from escaping the library. Does anybody escape the library? And so those are the questions I'm wondering. So let's get started. Very interesting, said Akimi, looking through the cafe's glass wall into the reading rotunda room. What? Said Miguel. I think Clarence just dropped off our books. Kyle pushed back from the table. He could see the shadowy figure of the bulky security guard slinking away from the round desk at the center of the rotunda. He left behind a stack of books. Come on, he said. Let's go see what sort of inspirational reading Dr. Zinchenko has selected for us. What about those guys? Said Miguel, gesturing toward the table where Charles and Andrew were finishing their desserts. Kyle was torn. On one hand, he didn't want to give away his bonus, the bonus his team had received, thanks to the other team's penalty. On the other hand, he didn't want people saying he won. He and his friends won because Mr. Lemoncello had tossed them an extra clue. He came up with a compromise. Hey, Charles, Andrew, we're all going to grab some books and to read to kill some time until tomorrow morning. You two might want to do the same thing. No thanks, Charles stood up. We pretty much have this thing figured out. In fact, I think Mr. Lemoncello steered us toward the clunker card, so we wouldn't win too easily. I mean, how would it look if we escaped his library in less than 24 hours? Bad, said Andrew. Real bad. Indeed, said Charles. In fact, I suspect nobody would buy Lemoncello games anymore if we showed them how consistently easy they are to win. Anyway, we're going upstairs so I can give Andrew a tour of my private suite. Would any of you care to join us? No thanks, said Akimi. Suit yourself. Oh, by the way, Mr. Lemoncello has a real video game console upstairs. Kyle felt his mouth going dry. It's top-of-the-line equipment, and it plays real games, not just the educational stuff. Care to join us, Keeley? We're gonna play Squirrel Squad, the new edition. According to the game box, it won't be released to the general public until early December. Kyle felt sweat beading on his forehead. His palms were moist, his fingers were twitching, itching to thumb toggle a joystick. But finally, after the inside of his mouth had turned to sandpaper, he said, No thanks, Charles. We're just gonna, read. After Charles and Andrew headed up to the third floor to play what was probably the most awesome version ever of Mr. Lemoncello's most awesome game ever, if Charles Chitlington was actually telling the truth, Kyle and his teammates hurried out to see what book was waiting for them on the librarian's table. They found 7 different versions of the same book, the complete Sherlock Holmes. One was leather-bound, limited edition. Another was a tattered paperback. 3 were hardcovers with different illustrations on their fronts. One was a bigger kind of paperback with lots of scholarly essays, and the 7th was an e-reader, with only one title loaded into it. I think Mr. Lemoncello wants us to start a book club, said Sierra. What do you mean, said Kyle. You know, we all read the same book and then get together later to discuss and share our opinions. It's fun, said Miguel. We have a group at school. Are you in it? Asked Sierra. Yeah, maybe you'd like to join us sometime. I would. Thank you, Miguel. Akimi cleared her throat. Now what? She said to Kyle. Kyle shrugged. Like I told Charles, we read. Everybody grabbed a copy of Sherlock Holmes' book, but nobody went for the e-reader. Upstairs on the 3rd floor, Haley tiptoed around the Lemoncello Abilia room. When she had first visited the mini-museum earlier, she hadn't really looked around. Now she had hoped to find another book from the memorable reads display, a little golden book called Baby's Mother Goose, Pat a Cake, which could have been something Mr. Lemoncello read or had read to him when he was a very young boy. Haley made her way past the orderly stack of boxes through the doorway and into what looked like a recreation of Mr. Lemoncello's childhood bedroom. A cramped space crammed with 2 bunk beds that he had shared with his 3 brothers. Next to one of the lower bunks was a bookcase made out of milk crates. There it was, filled with maybe 3 dozen or other skinny, hard-covered picture books. Haley pried open the cover. Out popped a 4x4 art card. She quickly folded it in half and stuffed it inside her sneaker with the bandit's clue, because she was now pretty certain that bandits had, at one time or another, crawled into this building back when it was a bank. The silhouette of an Indiana didn't represent the Indianapolis 500 like Charles insisted. It stood for IN, the official post office abbreviation for the Hoosier State. First thing in the morning when the doors reopened, she needed to search through that Dewey Decimal Room to find a clue that would tell her exactly how and where the bandits crawled in. A tunnel? An air vent? A secret passageway on the first floor? Or third floor, between the old bank and office building behind it? There was only one thing Haley was certain of. They hadn't crawled through the book return slot. Chapter 39. Everyone in the reading room was quietly lost in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Kyle had finished a pretty cool story called A Scandal in Bohemia. It was about a king who was going to get married to a royal heiress with maybe 6 names, but the king was being blackmailed by an old girlfriend and an opera singer from New Jersey named Irene Adler. Something Sherlock Holmes said to Dr. Watson early in the story really stuck with Kyle. You see, but you do not observe. Kyle figured that was why Mr. Lemoncello wanted them to all take a break from chasing clues and read these classic mysteries. Not to find new clues, but to become better puzzle solvers. Had they been seeing things without really observing them? Probably. Reading the story was also kind of fun. Kyle could totally see Holmes's apartment at 221B Baker Street and the snooty king with the horse-drawn carriages on the foggy London street, and the disguises Holmes wore, and the smoky bomb Dr. Watson tossed through a window, and everybody started screaming, "Fire!" It was like he was watching a 3D IMAX movie in his head. Ooh, so Kyle's doing a little bit of visualizing or movie making in his head. Kyle couldn't wait to start the adventure in the second story in the book, The Adventure of the Red-Headed League. How's it going? Whispered Kimi. This book is pretty cool. This Sir Arthur Conan Doyle guy really knows how to keep his readers hooked. His characters leap off the page, said Sierra. Yeah, said Miguel. I dig the consulting detective. Huh? Said Kyle. That's what Holmes calls himself sometimes. Oh, I've only read one story so far, and suddenly something seemed odd to Kyle. Hey, how come Conan Doyle isn't one of those statues up there? What do you mean, said Akimi. He's a famous author, right? How come they're projecting a statue of a modern writer like Bosch, but not an author that created a classic Sherlock Holmes? Good question, said Miguel. I need to consult with my brother Curtis. How come? Curtis has read more books than anyone I know, except maybe Sierra. He scored an 808 on his SAT subject test in literature. Kyle, I think the top score for any SAT test is 800. Yep. Then Curtis took it. They had to raise it. So maybe he can help us figure out what's up with all these statues, said Miguel. Exactly. Why these 10? Why not the other writers? Why not the same 10 Bridget Wage had for her extreme challenge, added Sierra. Kyle looked around the room. Mrs. Tommen? Hello, Mrs. Tommen. The hazy holographic image of the 1960s librarian flickered into view. How may I help you, Kyle? I'd like to talk to an expert. And whom do you wish to speak to? Mr. Curtis Keeley. Your brother? And an SAT certified expert on the subject of literature and authors and other literary type junk. Suddenly the hologram vanished, and Dr. Zinchenko's voice came over the ceiling speakers. This is an irregular request, Mr. Keeley. Hey, said Akimi, this whole game is rather irregular, don't you think? We just need some more data, said Kyle, because, like Sherlock says to Dr. Watson, it is a capital mistake to theorize before one has data. I take it you're enjoying the book, said the librarian. Kyle gave the closest security guard a big thumbs up. Booyah! Can't wait to see what's up with the League of the Red-Headed Gentlemen. Ah, yes, said Dr. Zinchenko, a fascinating story. I recently reread it myself. Very well, Kyle. We will contact your brother to determine if he indeed qualifies as a literary expert. It may take a while. No rush, said Kyle. I've got a good book. Kyle was busy helping the Holmes figure out what the red-headed leak was just a clever. Kyle was busy helping Holmes figure out that the red-headed leak was just a clever poly pulled by some robbers to get some red-headed pawnbroker to leave his shop long enough for them to dig through a tunnel from the basement to the bank next door, when the librarian's voice jolted him out of the London and brought him back home to Ohio. My apologies for the interruption. Akimi, Miguel, and Sierra closed their books too. It was 11:15. Everyone had sleepy, dreamy looks in their eyes, as if they'd kind of already started drifting off in their comfy reading chairs. What's up? Said Kyle. We have arranged for your expert consultation with Mr. Curtis Keeley. Awesome. How do we do it? You and your expert may have a 5-minute video chat on my computer terminal, which is located behind the main desk. Kyle hurried over to the round desk in the center of the room. His teammates hurried right behind him. Your consultation begins now. And there was Curtis, sitting at his computer in his bedroom. Hey, Curtis. Hi, Kyle. How's it going there? Great. Kyle's oldest brother, Mike, popped into the doorway behind Curtis. Kyle, chanted Mike. Woohoo! Kyle had never had his own cheerleader before. We need you to give us 110% in there, little bro. Mike squinted over the screen, over Curtis's shoulder. Who are those other guys? My teammates, Miguel, Sierra, and you know Akimi. You guys are a team? Smart move. Even I can't win football without help from my 10 other guys. Mike, said Kyle, Curtis and I only have 5 minutes to chat. Cool, I'm out of here. Win it, baby bro, win it. Mike backpedaled out of the room, making double fist pumps the whole way. You have 4 minutes remaining, advised Dr. Zinchenko. Okay, Curtis, here's my question. What do these authors have in common? Kyle rattled off the list of statues in order, and Curtis stared blankly into the computer cam for a real long time. Then he shook his head. I'm sorry, Kyle. I have no earthly idea. Uh-oh. We're going to pause there. Chapter 40 tomorrow. Let's see if Curtis magically maybe finds out something or discovers something or what they're going to do with this since they already used one of their lifelines. All right? Join me back tomorrow.